Don't be worried about preaching a sermon to somebody. You don't have to know all 66 books of the Bible in a row. You don't have to be able to quote all 12 of Jacob's sons. Sometimes when I am bored and I really want to think of things and try to put my mind to a test, I try to name all of Jacob's sons. She was doing a crossword puzzle the other day and said, Jacob's seventh son. There's 3 letters. I said, it's either Gad or Dan. And that's because I keep going over that's not going to help me. But folks, what we've got to be able to do is tell others what Jesus has done, being a believer, has done for me. And if it's not done for anything for you, listen to me. If being a Christian has not helped your walk, you're not doing it right.
That's right.
You know that? If you're still as miserable and as bored with life as you were before you come to know Jesus, you're not doing it right. How do you know that, preacher? Because in Him is joy. And most of all, in Him is hope.
Amen.
I'm not always going to be like this. That little children's song that we don't even teach our children to sing that come out in the 70s. I think Dottie Rambo might have wrote it. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took Him just a week to make the moon and stars, the sun and moon and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and faithful He must be, because He's still working on me. Think about it, folks. If your life hasn't changed, it's not because He can't do anything. It's because you never changed to start with.
Or you haven't accepted Him.
You got religion instead of a relationship because you haven't accepted Him. Folks, we need to understand. Tell other people what being a believer has done for you. And listen, when they throw up your mistakes, don't make excuses for them. Yeah, well, I heard when you hit your hammer, your thumb with your hammer the other day, I heard you talk about Jesus and God and all those other things. I heard what come out of your mouth. Own it. When you make a mistake, let people know, yeah, I blew that one. But I'm going to fix it. I'm going to try next time and only say 3 cuss words instead of 5. What we do is we be honest about it. And the third thing that we can do, listen to the voice of God when He's speaking. How many of you remember the movie E.T.? If you never saw it from way back then. Well, I had tears in my eyes whenever E.T. was in that little cold storage thing and he was supposed to be dead and his heart turned red again. Because, no, I wasn't crying for E.T. I saw a picture of the resurrection right there. Preacher, he was a squatty little worm fella from somewhere else, and you saw the resurrection. I was looking for the resurrection. I was looking for Jesus everywhere I could find Him. And folks, whenever you listen to the voice of God, you're going to hear it. Remember Elijah when he was in the cave? He heard the earthquake. He saw the rock shaking. If you've ever been to L.A., you probably know what I'm talking about. He saw the earth shaking. He heard the great tornado. But he didn't hear the voice of God in either of those. But you know what he kept doing? He kept listening. And then there was that still, small voice. He heard the whisper. You keep listening till you hear God. How are you going to hear Him? You're going to hear Him in His Word. You're going to hear Him in the sermons that people preach. Now listen, I listen to a lot of preachers on the radio. I'm glad you got that radio in that truck. I listen to preaching all the time now. I didn't get to listen to it before. Good preachers, not just the ones you hear around here. But you know something? Some of them I wouldn't give you a dime to go hear if they was across the street. But I listen to them anyway. And guess what? Every now and then I hear God speak through one of them. Because the apostles said it doesn't matter their purpose for preaching, but the gospel being preached, God's going to use it.
Amen.
And I learned things. Why? Because I'm listening for the voice of God when He's speaking. If you don't do that, you're not going to hear it. And then third, do the things you can do instead of lamenting what you can't. Now, most of you don't know what that word lamenting is. But that's not when you just cry. But that's when you, oh, God! You've heard it before. I just woke some people up. Lamenting is whenever it comes so viscerally from way down inside of it that your neighbors hear it. Have you ever had your neighbors come over to ask what was wrong because of the noise going on?
The hollering.
Yeah.
The hollering.
the lamenting over what we can't do stops us in our track. Do what you can do. The things that you can do, do them. It's like the little boy walking down the sidewalk or walking down the beach, picking up the starfish and throw it back in the water. And his grandfather said, "Son, you can't save all these starfish." He says, "But I saved that one." It does make a difference to the one you throw back in. Remember on the news the other day when that big old shark washed up on the beach over here in Panama City? A couple of guys went out there, instead of running from it, they grabbed it by the tail and drug it back out in the water. Right down the aisle, right down the road from them, there were people fishing to catch sharks. And you know what they would have done with them? They would have cut them up. They would have killed them. But this one here, they could do something. And listen, it may not make sense to you, but do what you can do. And then love the people he puts in front of you to love. Now, understand, I am not talking about going up and giving a big old sloppy hound dog kiss to everybody you see. Matter of fact, I recommend that you don't. Because there's some people you don't want to kiss, and there's some people who don't want to be kissed. Just know that for a fact. But you love them. How do you love them? You think about how Christ would deal with them. A heartfelt compassion. When you look at that person next time that you think is all weirded out, and they're dressed funny, they look funny, they smell funny, everything about them's funny, and I'm not talking about ha-ha funny either. When you see those people, instead of looking at them, that's just disgusting, wonder what Christ would think about them. Christ would say, "Come unto me, all you who are heavy laden." The world's put a lot of burden on their shoulder. The world's put a lot of stuff that you've got to do to fit in. Now listen, all of us don't fit in everywhere. You know that.
Amen.
There's some of us that don't fit in anywhere. But even by ourselves, that weight of loneliness has put that yoke on top of our shoulders. And Jesus says, "You who have that weight on your shoulder, come over here to me. I'll take it off and I'll give you one that you can handle."